Woo, finally, ladies and gentlemen, we finally have the return hours later, literally hours later on the Noah Hanifin trade, as the official trade has finally come through that the Calgary Flames are trading Noah Hanifin to the Vegas Golden Knights in exchange for a package that may be a little underwhelming to some, not including any prospects here. It will be a guaranteed first round pick, a conditional third that becomes a second if Vegas wins one playoff series or more, which I think is very likely to happen. So I would say it's a first and a second, a first and a third at worst, and double salary retention. So likely a fifth round pick headed to the Flyers, I would think, as the Flyers are being used as the broker, and for the contract spot, Daniil Miromanov going back to the Calgary Flames as well. So we'll break it down a little bit in a moment. Landon saying expect a Miromanov extension as well, according to Dreger. All right. Give me just a moment here, as I had to scramble a little bit here, but I will just go ahead to, and that's it. And the Flames, you got to understand that Hanifin and his agent completely handcuffed the Flames. So yes, is it a little underwhelming? I think so. But again, you got to take the context into account. Same for the Tarasenko trade. You got to take the context into account. Yeah, quite a day, Vinny. Quite a day. So it's a first and a third at worst, a first and a second at best. Here we go. If we look at Darren Dreger's tweet right here, there it is. Let me just put it for you on the screen like this. Beautiful. So here we are. It's going to be Vegas acquiring Hanifin for a first, Miromanov, and a conditional third that upgrades to a second if Vegas wins a playoff series. So I think that is very doable. That's very likely even. So it's a first, most likely a first a first and a third, most likely a first and a second, with a pick going Philadelphia's way as well for the salary retention. Let me refresh here. It's been a couple minutes as I was just setting the stream up here. We'll go look a little bit more at who Noah Hanifin is, how he fits into the lineup. Glad to finally be able to tell you the details of it. I'm surprised that Vegas didn't trade any of these prospects that we spoke about earlier and who we thought might be involved, but no prospects coming that way. It's going to be Miromanov going back the Flames way. Definitely a useful defenseman, 26 years old. He is playing in a 7th D role with the Vegas Golden Knights, had a lot of minutes down in the AHL. Give him third pair with the Flames. I think he can be a good, solid, longish term guy. If he's going to get an extension, especially to be a third pair guy in Calgary, that's fine. So they get a little bit of value there, but the big value comes from Vegas here as they have a plethora of picks. They trade a first, we don't know when, they trade a first round pick and a third that will likely be upgraded to a second. All they got to do is win one round, and that is very likely. So it's going to be a first, if not a first and a third, if not a first and a second. And that's it. No prospects going back the other way. But as Colton mentioned in the comment there, you have to understand that Hanifin and his agent completely handcuffed the Flames. So as an expiring UFA, he didn't have any sort of no movement clause. Am I correct in saying that? No, he had a modified no trade clause. So he had an 8-team no trade list. So it can definitely still work around that, but definitely not the easiest thing to do. When you look at Calgary's picks now, we still know the year on it, but that would be 1, 2, 3, 4. That is their 5th first round pick in the next 3 drafts. So they now have 5 firsts and at least 5 firsts. And then you would think 3 seconds. Well, 3, 4, 5. It'd be five seconds. Sorry, it'd be 5 firsts and 5 seconds. Sorry, a lot of the conditions and the years coming in my brain here. 5 firsts and 5 seconds if that third becomes a second over the next 3 drafts. So that's 10 picks out of a possible. Instead of 6, you got 10. So sorry about that for a little mumbo jumbo on the numbers. We're going to wait to see a bit more of the details. Of course, it's going to take another 65 minutes to get that. Vegas getting at Hanifin at a 25% cap hit is some nifty work. Allows them to go out and get another forward as well, as they're trying to do. So let's start breaking down who is Noah Hanifin. What does he mean for Vegas? Him and his agent leaked to teams he would only extend in Tampa, so teams dropped their offers. No kidding. Is that it, Baxter? Mr. Baxter? I did not see that. My goodness. So an extension might not be coming yet, but I would think that he would be a bit more open to a contending team like Vegas, where he can slot in as their number 1 left D for many years to come. So Noah Hanifin, over the last 3 years, projected wins above replacement percentile. It's the 67th percentile that he is in. We look at the last 3 years of weighted average data among defensemen. When we look at that and see, the last few years have seen a bit of a, I'd call it a steady decline even in terms of his overall value, but the minutes that he's been playing has continued to go up. He's playing more minutes on a worse team each year. Less minutes on a good team, more minutes on a bad team. So he's playing 23-46 on a tough Flames squad right now. NHL 24 franchise mode legend, Vancouver Canucks legend, Noah Hanifin, of course. Well said there, Rowan. I don't know why this is popping up. So take the numbers with a grain of salt as well. You see that he's in the 69th percentile of even strength offense, 40th of even strength defense. But keep in mind his level of competition. He's playing against some of the highest levels of competition in that 93rd percentile. So keep that in mind as well. Goals, primary assists, all that very high up there. As Jay Fresh describes, Noah Hanifin, he's a mobile puck-moving defenseman who typically plays at a top pairing level. He's very good at a whole lot of things, skating, passing, etc. Even if he's not quite elite at anything. The impacts are down this year, but microstats are steady. When you look at the microstats right here, we can see that it paints a fair picture of what he's good at, which is most things. He's active on exits like all Calgary defenders. He's a good passer, strong creator of offense, and finishing is doing that unusually well this year as well. And then further on, Jay Fresh goes on to say, this is all to say that it wouldn't surprise me to see Hanifin's macro level impacts rise back up to their usual strong level in Vegas, depending on the cap hit, which is 75% retained, only 1.23 million. This should be a savvy way to refresh their aging and very slow defense. So the speed that Noah Hanifin has as well cannot be understated. When you look at what he does well, a lot of that's well above average, especially when I think about the defensive zone retrievals, when I look at exit possession rate, the exits overall. He has a lot of power behind those skates. He's able to carry the puck and do something that the Vegas Golden Knights aren't really able to do that much with their just aging, I guess, defensive core. I mean, I could say older. On the left side, you got Alec Martinez, who's now going on the IR. You got Braden McNabb. These guys are in their mid-30s. Put Noah Hanifin on that top pair left D, whether he's playing with Pietrangelo or with Shea Theodore, and that is a very scary top pair. Very, very scary, especially when you consider how slow that Vegas defense can be sometimes. A lot of speed, a lot of size added right there. First and a third, trade calls underway, blah, blah, blah. You have to refresh the cards since it was 3 hours ago. Yeah, we're looking at some metrics earlier as well as the speed that he has compared to the speed that the defenders on Vegas currently has. So that was just a good way of showing that it's not just breakout speed. It's the ability to use that speed for the exits, the retrievals, all those things that Vegas has been having some issues with. So the Philadelphia Flyers in return will get some sort of fifth, or I would think at least a 5th round pick for that. They're collecting picks like the Infinity Gems over here. They got a ton over the next few years. So good for them in that regard as well. Jonas saying, I didn't hear your thoughts of what your opinion on the Adam Henrique trade was. Go ahead and click on the account, Jonas. I put all the breakdowns of today's trades up on the channel. You should be able to click on videos or click on live and go back and see all the breakdowns of all the trades that happened today so far. It's been a lot of live streaming. It's been a lot going on. But the Vegas Golden Knights get a very valuable piece. And going back the other way, it's a first, a third that could become a second, very likely does become a second. And they get to continue with the salary cap that they have. Like if they were dealing with what, 0.426 minus 1.23, I think it was about. That still leaves them over $3 million to play with. So if we're still going to be looking at whatever, Chikrin, Bushnevich, Gensel, Toffoli, these are all players that Vegas could still be thinking about making a push for. They still have a lot of picks. They still have not touched those prospects we spoke about earlier on. The the Chaikas, the Cormiers, the Brissons, all those guys are still untouched. Definitely. Yeah, so there's still some big names out there. WAR, so the wins above replacement, that's what WAR is. I've explained a couple times, but I'll the way that I kind of understand it is wins above replacement is the value that a player provides above that which is provided by a replacement level player. So if I'm talking about a defenseman, a replacement level defenseman is a 7th D. A 7th D, healthy, scratched on most nights. If I were to take Noah Hanifin out of his position in the lineup in Calgary over the last 3 years of weighted average data, and I were to replace him with a replacement level defender, a 7th D man, how much more wins am I getting with Hanifin there as opposed to the replacement level player? That's where he gets put into the 67th percentile of wins above, of players that provide wins above replacement to their team. That's basically my understanding of wins above replacement. And I think it's a good way to kind of look at a player's individual stats as opposed to things like plus minus that might be influenced by a lot of other things going on. So his wins above replacement has gone down the percentile rank over the last couple of years. Like we said, that goes into how he's had to play many more minutes on a bad team. Take into consideration very much that he's playing against some of the highest levels of competition in the league, and he's still doing things well enough, in my opinion. He's still above average, above the 50th percentile. I think that does carry a lot of value. And we look at the micro stats and things that he does very well: active on the exits, good passer, strong creator of offense, great foot speed as well, especially for his size to boot. He blocks a lot of shots also with let's see this here, 89 blocks. 82 divided by 61 times 89. He's on pace for 120 blocked shots. He blocked 129 last year. So he's definitely going to be able to do that, which is big in Vegas. McNabb, Martinez, all those guys love blocking shots. So he'll fit right in. And I think that an extension make a lot of sense. Jay Fresh, excited for tomorrow's trade of Gensel for a 23-year-old former first-round bottom six forward who struggles to finish, and the number prospect from a ranked prospect pool in the league. We'll see what happens with the Gensel trade, Bushnevich trade. Oh, man. So that is the majority of what really matters. What year is the pick and stuff like that is still to be decided. What pick goes back to the Flyers to say thank you for brokering our deal. We're still trying to figure that out. But the majority of what we want to finally find out from this trade has been released. Really doubt that extension happens. He wants to be in Tampa, and I see that as well. If he wants to only be in Tampa, then it's going to be Tampa. But if he's open to being a top pair guy, being the guy on a contending team, then I think Vegas, if there's any team that's going to convince him aside from Tampa, it's Vegas. I see he's pushing hard to get Tampa, so you get that 8th year. I don't know. I can't read his mind. I can't tell you exactly how he's thinking, but I would say that he would definitely have the opportunity to get paid well and given the opportunity to thrive on that Vegas blue line. I feel like he's a player that kind of fits Vegas's style as well. Like I said, he's a big guy. He blocks shots, but he does it while also being able to add speed. He creates offense. He's able to do kind of what a few defensemen on Vegas do, but all in one. So I think he fits well, but the question is, does he want to be there? Could be the best fit in the world. If he doesn't want to be there, he's not going to be there. So he might just end up being in Tampa. But in Tampa, you got Hedman, you got Sergachev, especially Sergachev as a left-handed guy. You got players who are ahead of him in the depth chart. I don't know. In Vegas, he would be that number one guy on the left. So hard to speak for him, but these returns are kind of mid for 75% retentions. I don't know. I guess it goes into what Colton's saying about how he kind of commanded the negotiation to a certain way. Can he play power play? Well, can's a big word. I think he definitely could. Has he played power play? That's the question. Does he fit onto the power play with Shea Theodore is probably that first guy. Second power play unit? I don't know. Maybe. And Medeal comes out, Mantha goes up there. Maybe. Has he played much power play time? He has 3 power play goals this year, 5 power play points. Yeah, he's played the power play. Oh, true. It's more about taxes and location than situation. I see that. Florida taxes and all that. So yeah, depends how much, if Vegas can pay up to offset that. But even in Nevada. Even in Nevada, the taxes are different in Nevada. Not as good as Florida, I don't believe. I don't know. They both have no state tax, don't they? I'm not American. He's been playing this year, not great at it. Yeah, because I saw he was in the percentiles. It was active when I looked at power play. Yeah, in the 42nd percentile of power play wins above replacement. Yeah, gotcha. That's what you're saying. So if Colton, if you're a Flames fan, what do you think about that return, taking all that context into consideration? Seeing how it was a 3-hour wait to get the return that we have now, I'm not going to pull my hair out for the next hour to wait to see if it's a 2026 fifth or a 2025 fifth going to the Flyers, but we're waiting to see the full return on this trade, as Noah Hanifin has been traded to the Vegas Golden Knights from the Calgary Flames in exchange for Daniil Miromanov, a first-round pick, and a conditional third that will become a second if Vegas wins a round, which is very likely. So what do you think about this trade, ladies and gentlemen? We're about 30 in here. What are our thoughts on this deal? Taking into consideration that Hanifin was, kind of releasing that information potentially that his agent maybe releasing the information that he would only extend in Tampa. If he is being acquired as a pure rental, does that change your thoughts on the return here? Mila's saying, what I don't get about these guys is what do you get if you're making 7 million versus 5 million? Like, what major luxuries do you get? Yeah, that's a question that we're asking ourselves, right? As the little people at the bottom of the totem pole. Why are you so frustrated to make 5 instead of 7? Well, how does that change your life? Well, when you're spending that much money on your house and on taxes and on vehicles and on flights and on this, that, and the other thing, your kids' private school and everything, I see it. But for me, whether I get 5 or whether I get 7, I'm jumping to the moon. But yeah, I see what you're saying, Mila. Golden deal is okay. Tough situation management was put in, but better you get something rather than the Goudreau situation. Yeah, well said there as well. Seamus saying it is an awesome trade for Vegas. Fits perfectly in our system next to Pietrangelo. Perfect guy for Cassidy. Yes. Now the question will be, does that become a long-term fit or is it just for the season? Whether or not it's a long-term fit for Hanifin, Vegas needs to figure out that left side because Martinez is getting older. McNabb's getting older, more injury prone. Martinez has spent so much time on the IR last couple seasons. He's a monster. But, are they going to be able to find another guy like Noah Hanifin? If I'm Vegas, I'm throwing everything at him. I'll give you there'll be free nights at what's it called? Where all those shows happen in Vegas. Free any show you want. Magic shows, America's Got Talent, headliner show. You're in front row, buddy. Terry Fader's doing his show there. Celine Dion. First row, Noah. I'm giving him everything that he could ever hope for to keep him on that left side, keep him happy on the left side in Vegas. Because not only is he a great fit, he's exactly the type of player that the Vegas Golden Knights would need. Hanifin updated scouting report. Ooh, let's see this. Vegas adds a first pairing D in Noah Hanifin. Could easily slide into top pairing with Pietrangelo. Absolutely. Let's look at this right here. So hockey IQ, this is based off of what? I'm not sure if it's based off anything in particular. Like aside from just a metric system, I mean, not like if it's last few years, just this season. I guess it's just this season, or just who he is as a player. Not sure exactly. He was offered 8x8 here. He'll be interesting to see what his extension is outside of Calgary, regardless of where it is. That's true, Colton. So hockey IQ at 88, skating at 95. That's a huge strength of his. Shot 85, puck moving passing is 87. His compete and consistency at 90. Power play 80, which is on the lower side for him, I suppose. Physicality also doesn't throw his body as much as you would think for a guy who's 6'3", 216 pounds. Pounding kill 88. Defensive zone starts and offensive zone starts both at 88 as well. Updated March 5th. Okay, just a little bit of information on there. Interesting scouting card there from the Pro Hockey Group. Let's see, what did Jonas have to say about this? Jonas, as an Oilers fan, I really wish Calgary tried to get some big name players to stay competitive so we can have the 2022 Battle of Alberta. That was really something, eh? What a time. What a time. Yeah. So Vegas now, they got Mantha. Here we go. So here's the full trade. There we go. Finally. Thank you, Frank Saravalli. We've been waiting for it. The Vegas Golden Knights acquire Noah Hanifin at 75% retained. The Calgary Flames acquire a conditional first-round pick. So it's a 2025 first unless Vegas trades it this deadline. So they could trade the pick that they just got from Calgary and use it for another deal they have going on. If they trade the 2025 fifth they got from Calgary, it will become a 2026 first-round pick. On top of that, Daniil Miromanov, and a third that becomes a second if they win one round in the postseason. The Flyers get, as I predicted, a 2024 fifth round pick. There's the trade, ladies and gentlemen. Finally, we have it. Like, what, 4 hours later? It's past 11 p.m. Eastern. Oh, my goodness. I bet this condition right here is what took forever. Okay, so the Flames get, all in all, take all the conditions away, they're getting at the very least a first, a third, and a depth defenseman. At best, a first, a second, and a depth defenseman. Vegas gets Hanifin at 75% retained. The Flyers get a fifth for saying thank you very much. So Vegas, with all their picks, they get to say, all right, so we can either trade you our 2025 or 2026 first, depending on what happens. You might trade one of these. We'll see what we do. On top of that, was it a 2024 fifth, 2024 fifth. So now in this year's draft, they have a first, a third, a sixth, and 2 sevenths. So no second, no fourth, no fifth in this year's draft. Whoo, boy. So there is the trade, ladies and gentlemen. The Flyers get another fifth. So now they have 2 fifths in 2024. Yes, 2 fifths. So 2 firsts, 2 seconds, a third, a fourth, and 2 fifths, 2 sixths, and a seventh. Win-win for both sides, says Raiden. I think it could have been even more of a win for the Flames if they could have gotten him to extend in Vegas. But to say a first and a third at very worst for a guy who's on an expiring deal, you know, you got to take that sometimes. In as tough of a situation as it was, with all the value that he provides and all that, he's going to be great for Vegas. But the question will be, can Vegas turn this into a long-term guy? If you can turn a late first and let's say even a second-round pick into your long-term solution at first pair left D, that's absolutely worth it. Now, Derek asks a good question. Are the Flames going full rebuild? Good question. I don't think you can go full rebuild when you have to be paying Huberdeau and be paying Kadri and be paying Weegar and right now be paying Markstrom. I don't think you can call it a full rebuild, but I think they're trying to make an accelerated retool of sorts, I suppose you can call it, whatever fancy name you want to give it. I don't think they're going into full rebuild, though. They've gotten some good picks. They have some good value. They still have some good players. They have young guys, Dustin Wolf, Matt Coronado, Connor Zary. They have good players in here. It shouldn't be a full-on rebuild. See you in 5 years when you're having to pay these types of contracts to these guys who are expecting to be a part of competitive teams. Any chance Kadri gets moved? I don't think so. At least not right now. He signed on for the next till 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more years, right? With a full no move clause. Yeah, 13-team no trade list starting in a few years. I could see it, but just not right now. Not right now. Do you think the Flames are done trading? I don't know if Markstrom's a guarantee. If Markstrom doesn't happen, I'd say the Flames are pretty much done here. They need to be bottom 10 next year so they can keep their pick. So I expect Markstrom will be moved by Friday or in the summer. I would say, if I had to guess, I would think the summer. I would think the summer, but Markstrom moving wouldn't shock me either. But I would think it's more of a summer thing. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Noah Hanifin traded to the Vegas Golden Knights, still allowing him to have lots of money to play with. Vegas will be active in the Buchnevich market, the Gensel market, the Tyler Toffoli market. They will still be active. Miromanov is looking for a 2-year extension with the Flames. That'll add value to the Flames' return right there, even if it isn't very much. Colorado and Vegas both did not give up first-round picks in this summer's draft for trades today. Interesting, eh? They both get to keep their firsts. Interesting that Vegas has stipulated that first gets like 2026. It wants full optionality to also trade 2024 and 2025 firsts at this deadline. So they're still going to be moving some value. The Vegas Golden Knights still think that they are involved in a lot of deals here, or at least one larger one. They still have a lot of salary cap, and they still have their first round picks to play around with. The Flames are receiving the first round pick in Las Vegas trades that elsewhere for Saturday, then it converts to it. Yeah, there you go. So what I want to see is just what Puckpedia has to say about how much money that leaves Vegas with. I believe it's about $3 million. Yeah, Vegas. I think they can definitely. I think that's definitely going to be what happens. I would be shocked if Vegas didn't win a round with Mantha, with Hanifin, with whoever else they go out and acquire. I would think that they are most certainly going to win at least one round, which would mean a second-round pick goes to Calgary. So we were talking earlier about what that would mean for Vegas's cap situation. I don't know if they had put it out for. No, I guess they hadn't put it for Hanifin, eh? No. Oh, wait. Okay, so yeah. Oh, they did. Sorry, I scrolled by it. So the expected cost for a third, is that okay? Oh, no, so it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It just talks about the pick coming back. Too bad. So I'll just have to kind of do it in my head a little bit here. So if Vegas has 4.426, and they're going to go ahead and remove 1.23 around. We're still dealing about 3.1, 3.2, but over 3 million. Vegas is still dealing with over 3 million. So Gensel, Bushnevich, all those guys at 50%, even, more at 75 for sure, but even at 50, some of those guys could work, especially Toffoli. At 75% retained, they can use their first round pick. They have maneuverability. Vegas is going to be a very interesting team to watch over this deadline, over the next, 36 hours and 40 hours until the deadline. Derek, any thoughts on the Oilers' move today? Henrique and Carrick for a first. Yes. If you go to the channel here, Derek, click on the channel, then go ahead and click on, it says home, video, live. Click on live, scroll down right there. I gave a breakdown on each trade today, including the Henrique trade and my thoughts on it. Essentially, I think that when you see the Vegas Golden Knights not trading a first, and when you think that you see that the Avalanche aren't giving a first, I know Henrique commands a lot of value for what he's doing this year. But I don't know. Henrique, I know there's 75% retained on Henrique, but look at that. Is it just because Hanifin, Henrique's not going to be extending either in Edmonton, you would think. So Hanifin goes for a first and a third, and Sean Walker goes for a second in a package. But Henrique and Carrick also go for a first and like a fifth for the retention. I don't know. I found like it was a bit heavy on the payment considering the market. But like I said earlier, it's also, you got to take into consideration that we're at the deadline. He's been having a great year. He's an expiring guy. You're retaining 75%. So, the first wasn't outrageous, but it is interesting to see that they gave a first and other teams have not. Now, of course, big curiosity will be if Noah Hanifin extends. Absolutely. Who do you think has the best center depth in the NHL? Oof, that's a good question. Well, it depends. I don't know if Adam Henrique is even going to play center. If you keep Nuge on second line center and McLeod goes third line center and Henrique plays the wing, which he has done, that changes the story a little bit. Best center depth in the league. I'd have to think about it a little more closely. I think the Jets have good center depth. Just off the top of my head here, I think the Rangers would like to, adding Alex Wenberg helps to their center depth. Yeah, you know what? I think the Stars have it as well, as Landon says. But I don't want to dip too much into other teams here. Ladies and gentlemen, there is finally the return on Noah Hanifin. It's going to be a first and most likely a second, but at worst a third, going to the Calgary Flames along with Miromanov, who's likely going to be signing a 2-year extension. What do you think about this trade? Who wins and why? What do you think about the value that Noah Hanifin brings? Could he extend? What could happen with him in Vegas? There's a lot to think about, a lot of moving pieces in this trade that will still have repercussions on the offseason and the season ahead, next season, 2024-25. If you wanted Florida, if you wanted Tampa, is Vegas good enough? I don't know. We'll see. Can they make it worth his time? Leave a like if you haven't already. Thank you very much. And of course, subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on those notifications for breaking news live streams as trades go down. Hopefully not as painful as this one where it took hours and hours to get the results. But if you want to see live news as it happens and breaking trades the moment it goes down, this is the place to be. Subscribe if you haven't already. And check out the channel for the rest of the breakdowns on the trades today, the trades that have happened over the last week. Much more to come, including live coverage of the trade deadline on Friday. So look forward to that. Thank you for joining me through these painful hours today of the 6-7 streams that we did for the 6 different trades, right? My goodness. Thank you. It was quite a Wednesday. Trade deadline coming up. We'll be back, I'm sure, tomorrow for the Toffoli trade, the Gensel trade, whatever might come our way. We'll be live for it, breaking it all down right here. So thanks again for being here. Have yourselves a lovely evening. Noah Hanifin off to the Golden Knights. Big domino that has fallen. What will it mean for the landscape of trades? What does it mean for him and Vegas moving forward? Lots of things to still figure out, and we'll see soon. Thanks, everybody. Talk to you soon.